So it's 6:08. We'll have a call to order and a roll call for attendees, starting with Sean. Hi,
Sean
Sean.
Copeland here.
This is Dottie Durst. I'm here too.
And Stuart Peasley, I'm here. And Tina, you want to pitch in? Or?
Yes, Tina LaJoy, I'm here.
And we've got some citizens joining us tonight, so would they like to speak up now or wait a minute or two? We're going to have citizen comments coming up soon if you'd prefer to wait. So roll call is done. We'll go to appointment of alternates. That's passing, but we are, as we speak, going to try to promote more invitations and reach out and see how we can get more activity, more people from the community to join up and see if they can help out here. I think that if we had a few more hands on deck, we could provide a more stable platform to pursue some of the things that we've been talking about, and that would really be of great benefit to everybody. So I did talk to a couple people from Woodstock Business Association, one of whom I see is joining us tonight, and I think that that would be the first go-to. You know, we want to try to coordinate as best we can, and I think it's a mutual benefit for everybody. So any comments or thoughts on that?
I think more people would be great, Stuart.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was just going to say I have not been able to attend the business association meetings, and I think it's really important for us to connect. Our meetings were happening pretty much at the same time, so it made it impossible to do both. But I think trying to get back to a schedule with attending their meetings would be very helpful.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, 19 hasn't helped out much either. Hey, 19. So yeah, that being said, everyone's had the Zoom meetings, but Woodstock Business Association has been very good about, Linda's been great about having her premises available for meetings, and so that looks like there's going to be an uptick there. So hopefully now that we've got our system of meeting not in the same time as them, that we can start to attend those. Tonight is just another snafu because of the holiday, but
Right. Normally it's the same night as the business association, but yeah. I see Emily Heber on, and maybe she would be, she is one of the owners of Buck's Ice Cream, so maybe she would be more inclined to get involved with the economic development. So
I hope so. Yeah, that'd be great.
She's muted right now, but you never know.
Okay, we'll get to that. Any other comments on that, or we can move on to citizen comments and delve right into it?
I think we can move on, Stuart.
Okay, let's move on. Speaking of citizens' comments, Emily Hebert and Denise Mehu. Denise, I'm never sure, am I pronouncing your last name correctly? But can you unmute yourself? Maybe she's not.
Denise is the marketing manager, I believe is her position with Chase.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I think she's muted right now.
She's muted.
I spoke with Scott Chase today, Stuart.
Yep.
And I talked to them a little bit about the farmers market. I'm sure that's what Denise is in about.
Good. Yeah, I spoke to her as well. Perfect.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
you spoke with Denise. I spoke, with Scott. So between the two of us, we covered bases.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was open to your idea. But it sounded great on trying to hold the farmers market there. I'm sure you got the same message that I did. So yeah, they were open to it. We talked about where they could generally go and trying to double that up with Butts roast beef being on site and trying to, pull people into his business as well out of hosting the farmers market there as well. So he was thinking on Saturdays while they were still open.
We'll, yeah, and I had a good conversation with Linda Auger about the farmers market prospect, and she brought up that probably 10 or 15 years ago, the same endeavor was discussed, and members of the community, it didn't really it didn't grab any footing because maybe the scale of operations around here, people are just too busy and they didn't see the benefit of doing a farmer's market. But we'll come back to that. I think that, originally the idea of a farmer's market was brought to us by Sadie Cocord from Advanced CT, based on the model that Coventry, Connecticut is having with their endeavors, and they're very successful. But the scale is different between Coventry and Woodstock. She's equating, I think they're a larger population, but also a bigger business population. So it might not be the appropriate case study to work from. However, I still think there will be enough interest if we use it as a combined effort. The other problem that Linda mentioned, or not problem so much, as that people that would be participating in farmers markets would be doing the Celebrating Ag activity in September, is it? And that might be kind of a conflict. So either way, we've got a lot to look at with this. And, I'm very excited. I have been very excited, as you guys are as well, about the prospect of farmers market. I think we've got great locations available. And as an incubator for other small businesses, it's really fantastic. It's going to be a real dynamic that we'd look for. So that being said, the main issue with the incubators, with the farmers market, is how much time it's going to take to get it going, and it's going to take a lot of volunteering efforts. So that's where,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
that's where we need more hands on deck.
I just want to clarify that I'm understanding what you're saying. As I recall, our conversation was a one-time event, which is something that's approved by the selectman's office. An event, one day, one time only, is approved by the selectman's office. I believe it's the case, and Tina, you can help us out with this, that if we're talking about a series of events, now we've gone to a whole other thing. We're in planning and zoning realm. So our conversation, I think.
I believe we're talking about a series of events as well, though. I remember Stuart does.
Okay, well, we need to
so too.
confirm that, because if it's going to be a series, we need to get to Tina or whoever can help us with understanding the zoning regulations. Because if we're taking a location, let's just make it up and say Grange Hall, or let's just make it up and say Chase's parking lot. We need to find out what regulations we're going to have to abide by in order to do that. But again, a one-time event is not the same as a business, which meets 5 times a year, such as a typical farmer's market is. So let's get that part clarified first from planning and zoning.
Well,
then determine if the week, between the Woodstock Fair and between the Woodstock Fair and Celebrating Ag, right in the middle there, when the people are in the mood to be out for autumn activities, is a target date, which at this point in time gives us plenty of time to set it up. And I think in our previous conversation also, this would be an event that would attract our artists and our authors and our other whole small business community, as well as people who raise corn. So we need to make sure we're all understanding the same concept here before we go any further.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
I agree as a one-time event. I thought we were trying to get it so we could have everybody on the weekends, Dottie, into it for maybe once a month, as I recall, or 2 times a month or something like that. And I totally agree. We did talk about with artists and all that and trying to bring in other local businesses. I think that makes sense. It's more like you say, artisanal
Yeah.
packages. But if you want to call it that, but if you want, businesses to come through, I mean, I don't think they're going to care to show up once. I think the way you get it is just like Putnam does, that we're comparing to Coventry. Putnam next door has a market that works wonderful.
Yeah.
And they're
But
open
Putnam is the problem.
multiple times every week.
All of the businesses in Woodstock related to ag that want to participate in a farmer's market already do. They're already booked. They book those spaces in Putnam and the other opportunities they have in our vicinity. They book them early and they go. They don't stay in Woodstock on those dates. So if you go to the Putnam Farmers Market, they start out with 1 time a week. And then later when the produce is really coming in, they go to twice a week. But the Woodstock growers they're booked in for slots there. And if you go, you'll see our people there. I don't know that they would give up one of those dates to come to Woodstock and take the chance they would still sell the same amount of produce, or that they have enough to actually staff both places. So
I agree. It makes sense to do it in co-op and pick a different date so they had, opportunities to sell, locally at different spots. So
right. So if they do Saturdays in Putnam,
sense.
if they do Saturdays in Putnam to start out, then they add Thursdays. Well, what could we do? Add Tuesdays? I'm not seeing that working. So sorry, I know that sounded sarcastic, but we need to really get to the Ag Commission and talk to people there who know who has product that and I see Diane Miller, maybe Diane's got some ideas here. Who has product they could actually sell at a one-time farmer's market, and who has product they could sell every week or whatever period of time you're thinking of, Sean. So
but I think that the concept was based on a series, and that we would likely grow more businesses, but we could definitely just start out at a one-time thing and see how it went. But it's not an either or. It can be, obviously it's easier just to get set up for one time and see if it got legs, if we're going to take it off or if it falls flat on its face. Even if we weren't to be successful, I think that we've got to look at a succession or how things follow up and how to make it work, because it's a learning. We're not going to know 100% right out of the gate that what we're going to do is successful. So it might take a little bit of a evolution in there. But that being said, I just wish that we could look, hey, we have a shot for this September, but that's really not that far off. 5 months. I think it really comes back down to is communication. Let's reach out.
Right.
We can divide up the amount of farms amongst us and just make phone calls. Hey, are you interested? Should we pursue this? Would it be something that what do you recommend? How do you see it working if we did do it? And
when's the next ag meeting then? So we can kind of partner up with that meeting. We should check on that. Let me look at
Okay.
the agenda here. Hold on.
But Dot, as far as getting the zoning approval, is that something that we should do if we're just in the conceptual stage right now?
Well, picking the location is most important for me to be able to check with planning and zoning, like a temporary kind of occasional event is, we have a process for that. But if it's going to be a regular kind of thing, I have to look at it a little bit deeper.
Well,
So-
if we can make it work at Chase, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be.
I think that's a really great location.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so location, dates, and participants.
Well, I don't
think-
see the agenda for April for the ad commission yet. So I'll have to check with the town clerk's office tomorrow. The last meeting they had was on March 16th. So they should have a meeting for April. Maybe Diane Miller knows what the date is, but it's not on the website. So
Okay, any other thoughts on the farmer's market?
The Ag Commission hasn't met since last March.
Wow.
Yeah, I talked to all of them and I was going to all their meetings, and then because of COVID, they haven't done any Zoom meetings or any, not that I'm aware of. I keep asking Stuart, and they haven't gotten together since last March.
So over a year.
Yeah, I think so, unless they've had one, Diane, that I didn't, maybe, like I said, Diane might know, but I haven't. I try to stay up to date with those guys, and I see Stuart when he's doing some of the stuff, and he says, oh, no, we haven't gotten together, so.
yeah, March 16th, 2020, not 21. Jeez. Okay.
Yes. Stuart is planning on having one this month.
Okay.
I think it's the next Monday.
So that would be the 19th.
I believe that's the case.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Because he was asking the committee members if they could meet, if they wanted to meet in person. So I think he wants to meet in person.
Oh, so that would be at town hall?
I would assume that's the case. I haven't seen any notice of the meeting yet.
Oh, that's great. Okay, we'll keep an eye out. Do you think that there would be a receptive response or interest in this kind of thing, Diane? Do you think that farmer's market?
A farmer's market where?
Yeah.
Well, I think we tried to do that at the Grange Hall, and all of the vendors were always too busy to be every place else, so that
Right.
they didn't have the manpower to do it there. Because I think we also wanted to do it at Celebrating Ag, and we don't have anybody there either because they're off doing it at other places. But Dottie, you discussed that before, didn't you, Dottie?
She's muted.
Dottie, you would?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I did, Diane. And I think also we need to listen hard to what Linda Ogier told you, Stuart. If she said it didn't really work and she's not envisioning it working, I think she's going back to what Diane just said, which is people who sell their farm grown items already have a plan, a schedule, and it's pretty solid, and they have to pay for those spaces. So it's not like we can just, unplug somebody from over there. That's an important, that they raise the volume of produce that they think they can sell in various places, including the farmers markets where they're already signed up. But a one time, that would be different. And like, I don't know if you all know this, but Ashford, believe it or not, their farmer's market is on Sundays. It's right on Route 44 near the Cumberland Farms in the town hall there. And they do incredible amount of business because there's traffic on Route 44. So I don't know if we'd be comfortable with a Sunday event, but no one else has a farmer's market on Sunday except Ashford. I don't know that the farmers would want to go on Sundays either, or that they'd even have a staff person to go, but at least it doesn't put you head to head against an established location such as the Putnam Farmers Market or the other established locations around.
Okay, sounds good.
Makes a lot of sense, Dottie. Makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
All right.
I think that, you know, it would seem like if there was another opportunity to make sales, that might be of interest, that would, you know, that would be the pitch.
I think that's right. And so the established people who are in ag and raise produce or product for the big farmers markets may squeeze out the new guys. And I don't know the name of the produce grower on Route 171, sort of just west of the Faith Evangelical Church. But you know, they're on Route 171. They were new last year, I think, and might be interested in an opportunity like we're talking about, and may not be able to get a spot in the Putnam Farmers Market yet. So I think there's other growers and producers in our area maybe who are newer. But then the question is, but will people attend? If it's agriculture-based businesses that we're not familiar with, will we actually drive to that location? Chase is a wonderful location. It's great that they are interested in hosting this because it's so visible. So that'd be excellent. So that could work. Just a question of who can we find who can go, what date should we choose, and then how do we build enough booths and vendors to make it interesting that people with a lot of interest do stop.
Okay, so here's the next point that was raised by Linda Auger, is that just to get this going takes a lot of preliminary legwork, and it's almost like a full-time job. So it's over my head. I don't think I have the time. So we have to appreciate that and factor that in. It's like, well, we've got to have somebody that's actually interested to bustle this through. And that, and in the first place, does that come from the EDC or does that come from a private enterprise? I think, you know, we're not designed to create, we're designed to try to implement and help make it smoother for people that want to create. So that being said, I mean, I would love to participate in getting these events set up, but is that our purpose? Is that our function? I mean, I think it's great that we can facilitate, but how do we get someone to take point? Is that us? I don't know, Dottie. What do you think?
I agree with what you're kind of getting here too, Stuart. I think the best thing to do is go back to the Ag Commission and run the whole thing past them, and let's get a feel, because those are people who would be the core, who would want to advocate among people in the ag community to participate in this. So let's do that, especially if they're meeting right away this month. Get a feel, ask them to put their feelers out and see if there were a date that did not conflict with anybody's already scheduled important big deal farmers markets. Would they participate? Would they have the produce or the product to be able to attend one more day than they've already mentally or physically planned for? Let's get some feedback. And Linda Auger is pretty active. She's got her finger on the pulse at the Ag Commission, but ask the Business Association and or Linda also for feedback. And then among those two groups, maybe there is someone who would step forward, or we could go to the newer people in our ag community. What Dottie is saying is a generation younger than me, maybe, you know,
Right.
to as you say, to take the point, and it is just a question of organizing and planning. And but I
And
can't do it.
I don't think that it would, I think that it would be an exciting prospect of, you know, a young entrepreneur. And they wouldn't be put off by the amount of work taken that it would take to do it, because there's going to be a heck of a big return on this, I feel. I think there's a lot of potential for this. And who was the guy, Mike, that was joining us last year?
Yeah, Mike
before the
Webster. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Webster. You know, he's a go-getter. Emily from Bucks is a go-getter. So, you know, I don't have any lack of confidence that these are the kind of people that would make this thing work. You know, and that's to everyone's advantage. And that's why it's called an incubator, because it's just going to attract more attention and more people are going to want to get in there. Artists, musicians, food vendors. It's a great opportunity. And Chase will start selling a lot more lumber.
I don't know if that's possible with the building boom underway. I don't know, or I should say the remodeling boom underway. I'm looking at the clock, wondering not only about this topic, but what else we need to cover tonight, because we're going to be unplugged by Crystal before very long here.
Okay. Yeah, let's move along. Let's plan
So
on.
can we follow through with the Ag Commission and with the Business Association / Linda Ogier to get some feedback and tell both groups to be very, very honest, put out feelers, let us know if it's feasible. Because if the ag community is already all booked up for the major opportunities they have to market their products, and they all say, no, we just can't squeeze in one more, we need to know that right from the start.
Okay, so we'll leave this on under old business, and I've got one more comment to make under the old business, just to redress that I would like to ask everyone involved to start talking up with people that they think might be interested in joining us. I may just delve into the Explore Woodstock pamphlet that Woodstock Business Association puts out and start making some calls and you know, trying to invite some participation. So I would ask anybody else to, if they have an extra 5 minutes, just to do that. See if we can get more people on board. On for new business. So I guess we have to make a motion to go on to new business, right?
No,
Okay, let's go to new business. Deliverables. I've been working on trying to get a permitting guide. I would like to have a physical handout. And one way to do that, I'm almost done with it. In fact, I want to reach out to Tina. I know she's busy as all get out, but I want her input to tell me, you know, some things like which guides are most useful for people that are moving in, or even existing businesses if they want to, you know, make additions or revisions on their property, how we can help streamline that process. And so if we have a physical pamphlet that we can hand out, Dottie, I sent this to you a couple months ago and I thought I'd be further along than I am, but I'm getting there. I'm almost done with it. I just keep tweaking it here and there.
I thought it looked good as a first draft, Stuart. You're on a good path there. However, let me ask Tina this.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you all know what that means. When I was active in planning and zoning, it was frequently the case that a new business would come before planning and zoning and say, I already signed the lease. I already moved in. Oh, then I found out I have to have a permit. So here I am, guys. What do you want to ask me? So it's like the cart is way before the horse. So my proposal is that the owner of every single retail or commercial space, the owner, be sent a letter immediately from Stewart and the EDC stating that there is a process that a tenant needs to go through to get a permit before that person signs a lease. Because if it ever happened, it hasn't as far as you know, if it ever happened that somebody signed a lease and then found out they have to come to planning and zoning, wouldn't it be awful if that was denied? So
Yeah, well, that's a
property
good-
owners, real estate owners should receive something that has your kind of flow chart on it. Stuart, that's a very good flow chart, and it shows that you do not sign the lease first, business owner. You get your permit and you know, Department of Health and all the other stuff that goes with it. Much of that they already know, but they don't know about the planning and zoning part.
Okay.
I think
Send
that,
to send out the property owners, Dottie,
Yes.
just to send that out so they're
The owners of the
aware.
places that people lease. So you know, this plaza and this plaza and that other plaza. There's little plazas all around with multiple tenants. What do we have, like 5 or 6? And then we have some that are single occupants.
Yeah,
So those property owners that leased out these spaces, starting right at the Putnam line and all the way up through, they need to
Yep.
have a document that says, here's your flow chart, Stuart, is excellent. And it needs to show that planning and zoning is someplace near the top of that process,
Yeah.
getting your new business started.
listen, out here in most rural areas, you have a prevailing spirit of willfulness, which is hard to, you know, put down, but at the same time, we have to, you know, we have to recognize that we do have more and more regulations, whether we like them or not, but they're there. And so if at least we can not surprise people and say, hey, you know, you're not out in the middle of nowhere, you've got neighbors, you've got to sort of just be aware of what it is that you're getting into.
The situation with planning and zoning, Tina, I'm pretty sure you're aware, goes back many years when the town planner granted an expansion for a business on Route 169 because the regulations permitted it. It was within the specs for the regulations.
Mhm.
And when the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission found out, there was holy hell to pay. It was a major thing on a major road, and somebody cornered one of the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, said, what's going on over there? And the man had no clue. So from that day forward, Planning and Zoning, I think, has voted 3 different times, years and years apart, that these applications do have to come before the Planning and Zoning Commission. So they have their finger on the pulse. However, on the agenda, when they finally get to it, it takes 8 minutes. It takes 4 minutes. 3 or 4 or 5 questions will be asked. The prospective business owner will give an overview of the plan, and the commission will say, welcome to Woodstock, and, you know, stamp the permit. So it's not like it's a horror story, but
Right.
it's an obstacle, and the commission does not meet every
yeah,
week.
it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, Dottie. I
Yes.
mean, and certainly, I mean, I don't know how we would enforce,
Well, it's not- no.
you know, having people have to get a planning and zoning approval before you can
No,
sign a
no, no, no.
lease.
We
That's for
wouldn't
sure.
want to even imply that. It's just the flow chart that Stuart
Well,
worked on
that's-
that shows the
Oh, yeah.
owner of the plaza, the process that person should guide the prospective tenant toward. And if the owner
Okay.
of that plaza says, I don't care what your process is in this town, I'm getting this dude to sign the lease, I need the income, then he can go to planning and zoning. We have no control over that. But most of the owners of those plazas are pretty conscientious,
Mhm.
good citizens, and they do want things to do right. They just don't always know, you know, the process that it should go through.
Yeah,
Yep.
an informative letter, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to create too much red tape for people either, but,
No,
No.
you know, we want to continue to be somewhat business friendly and,
that's right. And it should be very upbeat and welcome, you know, welcome.
Right.
Stuart's already got the draft done. It's a very
I haven't
nice
seen that.
process. And so modifying what would go to the business owner to instead just make it very brief for the property, the real estate owner, the landlord. It's perfectly simple. There's only a few steps in it, and but it says to the landlord, kindly let your prospective tenant know there's a process to go through, and here's the steps. And as I said, most of the people are very accommodating to want to make this work.
Just some guidelines, you know. It's like, it's not anything more than that. Just something to, you know, frame out an approach that people should be aware of when they have something in mind, because everyone has a, you know, a great idea, but that's, you know, these great ideas are floating around. And when you try to put them into reality, you have to go through a methodical process. And that's all this is just saying, you know, hey, welcome to Woodstock. And you know, here's generally what we're asking for people to be aware of. So, okay, that being said, let's move on. Reports by members. Anybody have anything new that we haven't discussed?
Nothing off the top
We
of my
had
head,
some pretty-
Stuart, that are EDC, you know, related.
I hear the cost of a half-inch sheet of plywood is $45 now. That's
No, that's for the cheap OSB. The zip is 65.
well,
Oh my,
the cheap OSB is $45.
Correct.
Oh boy. Okay.
But Woodstock,
So,
look, if you want a report from a member, I can tell you Woodstock is, you know, our affluent people moving into town is certainly growing, and it's going well. You know, I've got a lot of custom homes in town. The bulk of my work is actually in Woodstock right now. So I can tell you firsthand that it certainly is moving still fast, even with the current prices, to get people that's definitely, like I said, more the higher end buyer into town.
Mhm.
So it's a good thing.
That's great.
Still.
a lot of development going on.
Yep, quite a bit.
That's great.
Mhm.
Quite a bit. So it's been great.
On that happy note, I think we can, anybody else have any comments or thoughts they want to share? Somebody want to make a motion for adjournment?
I'll
I
make
will
a
so move,
motion.
Mr.
Sorry.
Chairman.
Sorry, Dottie.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second, Sean.
Finalized.
All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Hi.
We will see you next month, and I will follow up on a lot of these notes tonight.
Mhm.
And it will be interesting to see Monday if anybody has a chance to join. I'm definitely planning on it with the Ag Commission.
All right.
So
It's next Monday, Stuart.
yeah, that's
Okay.
what we'll double check it, but we can send out a link. We can send out confirmation.
That'd be great.